Hopefully up north we can get some good spring weather because the NFL draft gets underway 1 week from today in Green Bay.
Yep, ahead of the big event, we talked to News 3 Now's Packer contributor Jason Wilde about what to expect.
We have a lot of big questions for you. First of all, how is Jair Alexander's situation factoring into this draft thinking this time around?
Yeah, great question, Brady, because it's anyone's guess right now because, Brian Gutekunst has made it very clear that there's a tiny possibility that he'll be back on this roster, but I don't think that's the truth. I think their minds have been made up for a while, and so they've been able to plan for what they're going to do at the cornerback position. So, look, I've never heard a general manager talk about a player who's still on the roster the way Goody did about Jair Alexander. He said, well, if he's not on our team and he's not helping us win, we need to get something for him because we've invested a lot in him. Usually you don't talk about players that you plan on having on your team in that manner. So I think it's safe to say they're ready to move on, and they've been planning for how this affects their draft ever since.
The draft is always a very exciting time for the Badgers. Let's talk about some Badger prospects. What are people saying about Hunter Waller's draft stock?
Yeah, it's interesting, Susan, because Hunter Waller is one of those like Wisconsin guys, right? He's born and raised here, played for the Badgers. We all root for those guys, right? But it's interesting because all these draft experts have varying opinions of where he's going to go. Some think he could go as early as the third round, others toward the end of day 3 in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round. So I would just say this about Hunter Waller, just like I would say way back in the day about Jimmy Leonard. I'm not betting against this guy. And so I expect him, wherever he lands, wherever he's drafted, to find success in the NFL.
Well, yeah, on the flip side, when it comes to prospects, what are the Packers' biggest needs that they're looking for?
The question that we always ask is, what do you see your needs as, and who are you thinking? And we always get, well, we want the best player available, which is a great cliche. But in this case, it could actually work in their advantage because they have so many needs. They need help at corner. They need help at wide receiver. They need help on the defensive line. They need help on the offensive line. So the beauty of that is they could basically go in and say, okay, whoever the best player available at any of those positions are, that's our guy. So that makes it a lot easier for them.
So it's more of a better bet to take the best player available versus the player that you really need. Is that what you're saying, if it comes down to that?
Well, Susan, it's funny because that's what GMs always want us to believe. But there's no denying that need fits into the equation. They say that they don't think about it, but it's funny how it always works out that you get a bunch of players that fit the holes in your roster. I don't know how that happens, but the beauty of this is they do have a lot of needs. And you wouldn't think so for a team that has been to the playoffs the last 2 years and is so young. But Brian Gutekunst goes into this draft with only 8 picks. He wants to add more by trading back and adding more picks that way. I would expect him to end up taking about 10 players. If he's able to do that, then he can do a few of those best player available picks that don't fit a need because the guy was too good to pass up.
We are really looking forward to next week. I can't imagine the energy that this is bringing up there. So we look forward to having more conversations with you as we get closer to the draft.
We'll talk to you soon, Jason. Thanks so much.
You guys are the best. Thanks for having me.
Well, don't forget, News 3 Now will be talking about the NFL draft in Wisconsin all this week and next. The team coverage will be led by Eric, Zach, Andrew, and, of course, Jason Wilde.